I've got lots of card making tips to share while we make 2 really simple cards for fall. Hi everyone, welcome to sunnydaystamping.com. I'm Julie Baca. I'm so glad that you're here joining today. We are making super simple cards. This is going to be perfect if you don't have a ton of supplies. We're going to use stamps, ink, and paper, a couple other things, but they are just added in, but you don't need them to make these cards. So let's get started. We're gonna start with our stamping. I'm using the new beautiful pumpkins, which are absolutely beautiful. I love this kind of stamp set where you can just use stamps, ink, and paper to make a gorgeous card. This fills in the big pumpkin, this one fills in the small, and we've got little stems for each, and these great leaves and beautiful words. Like, I love this thing. My first tip is when you have a photopolymer stamp like this that has a very large flat surface, when it's brand new, it can pill up the ink and you won't get a very good impression because there might be oils from the manufacturing or it's just super slick. So what you're going to want to do is clean it first, and I use the Stampin' Scrub and the Stampin' Mist, and then I just rub it for a while, get all the any oils off of there and rub it here. A lot of times that'll work, but sometimes it doesn't. If that doesn't do it, I put it on my scrap paper and just kind of rub it, twist it to kind of get it so that it'll accept the ink better. Then I'll even try stamping to see how it looks. This one looks good because I've used it a lot, but you would just do that. Just keep on stamping and stamping. Lastly, if that doesn't work, grab yourself some sticky ink like this Versamark ink, which is used for heat embossing. It'll make it all sticky, and then again, put it on your scrap paper and do this several times. You don't even need to clean this off. You can go ahead and use it right away like that. The other way to get a really good impression with your photopolymer stamps, which are hard, they don't squish very much, is to get a Stampin' Pierce mat. These are like $6 or less, totally worth every penny. Because I'm going to be stamping off my paper, I'm going to cover it up with a scrap sheet. This is going to give it a little extra cush. It's like a dense foam, and it's going to give you a really good impression. All right, now we're ready to do our first design. So you're gonna grab the accent stamp first. I find this to be easiest. You're gonna ink that up in whatever color you choose. We're gonna go traditional and do the orange pumpkin, and you're gonna put that right in the center. I like to stamp that first because then I know exactly where to do the fill-in stamp. Now, you can use a different color if you want, but I'm trying to keep the supplies low, so I'm going to use the same color, and I'm going to stamp off my paper, and then I'm going to line this up and stamp over it. That's going to fill in, and it's going to give me a lighter color. Now, these white pieces are supposed to be there. This is kind of a more distinctive, natural-looking stamp. Now we're going to do that same thing with this little pumpkin. We're going to use Cajun Craze. Go ahead and ink that up. I like to tap, tap, tap my stamp when I'm inking it up instead of squishing it down. That keeps it from getting ink around the edges of my stamp. Now grab that interior. We're going to do the same thing. Stamp it off and then line it up right over the stamp. I just find that the easiest way to line it up. Now we're going to do the stems, and I'm going to do those in pecan pie. There is a little stem for the small pumpkin and a larger stem for the big pumpkin. You can either stamp these straight down, but I prefer to put the base of the stem where I want it and then rock it into place. Lastly, we're going to add a couple of leaves. We're going to add one going one way, then rotate your stamp and have it go the other way. Wasn't that so quick? And now we're not even going to cut out our sentiment. We are going to stamp it directly right on our beautiful images. It looks so good and so sharp. I did it in early espresso instead of black just to change it up and really work with those fall colors. Now we're going to layer this on a piece of early espresso cardstock. Go ahead and glue that right in place. Now grab your card base. If you like this video, if you could give me a thumbs up right now, boy, it helps me out so much. Because this stamp set has this little leaf, I'm gonna put one on the back of my card base just for a little bit of special touch. And now this is a really simple card. So we want to add a little kind of something extra to the card base just to spice it up a little bit. If you have an embossing folder, you could do that, but we don't have that. So we are just going to stamp, and that's going to give a great background for this card. Now you can glue this right to the card base if you want. If you have Stampin' Dimensionals, we're going to use those because most crafters have these. They're these little foam little stickies. It's just going to create a shadow for behind this layer, which just automatically makes it a little more fancy, even though this is so simple and so quick to make. You can take these off with your fingernail, but I use the take your pick tool because I usually have short fingernails. Now this card looks really great just like that, but I'm going to use the new Early Espresso and Old Olive twine pack. This is new for the fall, and I'm going to just tie a little bow in green. It's going to match this card base and that ink just perfectly. Linen thread is one of the easiest things to tie, which is why I love it, and I'm going to buy it in all the colors they ever make. This little cap for the linen thread I have in another video on organizing your thread, so you can watch that to make that if you'd like. Now you can use glue to attach that little ribbon, but I like to take a little mini glue dot. I roll it up really small to fit underneath that linen thread knot, and then I just put this exactly where I want it on my card and squish the knot of the bow right in there. Then just trim off this excess. Now I already stamped the inside. This is a sneak peek of the design of our next card that we're going to make. Glue that right on the inside to just complete this card. Oops, wait, one more thing, another tip for making a very plain card a little more fancy is just to make sure to decorate your envelope. You can see I didn't use my Stampin' Pierce mat, so I kind of got an incomplete image. I'm telling you, this thing is a game changer, and because I have this little leaf, I'm just gonna add this right on the back. So that is gonna match this and just kind of make it a great set all together. Okay, card number 2. You already saw the design that we're gonna do, but we are gonna change up the colors. When I Googled pictures of pumpkins, and some of them were blue and some of them were like really pale orange. And so I got inspired. So we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna use Lost Lagoon. And because this is just tone on tone, you're gonna grab your Lost Lagoon ink as well. So this is us just snazzing up that card base a little bit, just randomly. You can use that big one, but I just wanted to show you another way to use the stamp set just with the little leaves. So our color palette is going to be Peach Pie, which is just a softer orange, Petal Pink, looks amazing, and then Lost Lagoon, because I did see some bluish greenish pumpkins. So I just want to show you some quick tips for doing this design as I was playing with the colors. I'm going to call this my lightest color, my medium, and my dark. So we're going to start with the medium color, and you're going to put a pumpkin on either end, making sure one is higher than the other and making sure they're at an angle. Now take your Stampin' Scrub, make sure to clean off your stamp in between. I forgot to say that. And now you're going to take your lightest color, and we're going to put this one kind of in the middle, kind of up the tallest, and it could even be a little straight. Clean your stamp again, and now take your darkest color, and we're going to put this pumpkin off, kind of pointing that way, and then this one kind of down low, pointing the other way. This one is on top of the other pumpkins, like they're all tumbling out of the cart. Now we'll go back through and we'll match up all the insides, filling that in with our stamp. Make sure you're cleaning your stamp in between the colors. Now add your stems. And then add your leaves. It's really important not to overdo it on the leaves. Just put a few, and then this gets layered with Early Espresso also. Now for the measurements for both of these cards, they're on sunnydaystamping.com on my blog, but if you're on my email list, I emailed this out this morning. It's got the measurements here and some card making tips and then all the supplies. So make sure you're on my email list to get this. It's free within that first week after this video. After that, it goes to my tutorial store. I bundle them all up at the end of the month, like so all the ones for September. You can, if you need one of those project sheets from the past, you can purchase those. Okay, so now we're going to use this other sentiment, and I want to give you a tip. For long sentiments like this, it can be hard to get them straight. So I like to line them up on my grid paper. And then I take my stamp block and I line my stamp up with the lines of the grid paper. And now I know that this is straight. Now for this design, we're not going to stamp directly on here. I'm going to show you how to use a little sentiment strip. Now I do have the measurement for this on that project sheet and on my website, but I want to show you just a way to do it without really measuring. Grab yourself a scrap of basic white, ink up your stamp, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it along the edge of this stamp here, along the edge of the paper, using that as a guide for keeping our sentiment straight, which that is not perfectly straight. I must not have had my block straight. So I'm gonna just grab another scrap. I got plenty of those. And now I'm gonna make sure my block is lined up. So I'm gonna line my paper up with the grid paper. I'm gonna line my block up with the grid paper and my words along the bottom there. Oh, that looks good. Now we're going to put this back in our paper trimmer. And you just kind of line it up on there, making sure you can see right through this cutting trough so you know exactly what you're cutting. And then you've got that perfectly. Now for this sentiment, we want a little strip over here because I'm going to show you a way to fancy up this card. You can just eyeball it, but it is 4 1/4, so I'm just going to cut it right there. So this is another pretty plain and simple card, which I personally love. But what we're going to do with this ribbon is going to be kind of cool. It's going to make it really interesting. We're going to grab a little tiny piece of tape, really narrow. Grab your sentiment, and we're going to tape the end of this linen thread right on the back. Or you could use a glue dot or whatever you have. And then we're going to wrap this like 5 or 6 times, like make it look super cool. Just kind of earthy. And then we're going to tape this on the back with another piece. You got to make it narrow so that you can't see the tape from the front. Just like that, tape it in place and then snip off this excess. There we go. We've got like a super cool base for our ribbon. Now you're just going to tie a bow. And for this one, I think I'm going to do a double bow. So go ahead and double it over and then tie a knot. Then I kind of manipulate it so one of the ears of the ribbon is a little bigger and one is smaller, just to make it look more full. Like that, and then we'll clip off these edges. Now, again, you can glue this right to the front of your card, but I am going to use a Stampin' Dimensionals. Put that right in the center. And then what we're going to do is put dimensionals on the back of this sentiment strip. Then I'm going to put it kind of right here with it hanging off the edge, making sure it doesn't extend past the edge of the card base because you want it to fit in the envelope. Then just take another mini glue dot, put it right where you want it, and then squish that knot right into here. Now I already stamped the inside of this card. I just took the pumpkin from our first card and put it on the inside, just using that lighter pumpkin color. So I made one of these cards in our first coloring. Oh wait, we need to make a little envelope to match this one. There we go. That looks better. Like that. But what I wanted to show you when I made this card, I got a glob of ink from my finger on here. So I wanted to show you just a way to fix that. So this is also, because these are such simple cards, adding an embellishment strategically can be really, really helpful. So I'm gonna take my largest one and I'm gonna cover up that little glob right there. And then I'm gonna take a small one and put it right close by. And then it's always good to do these in uneven numbers. So I'm gonna add my third one over here. Wait a minute, you can't really see it under there. Come here, little guy. We're gonna replace you and we're gonna put you right there. There, so that's one way to kind of spice up your card a little more, but also to hide any imperfections. So here are two simple cards in two different color combinations to just inspire you for fall and send those thank you cards. I put out a new card making video every Friday, so I'll see you here next week. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified so you don't miss out on any videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a sunny day.